Hello, everyone. Welcome back to yet another political episode. So, we gotta talk about Pennsylvania because I think Red Eagle Politics released a very good video yesterday. Likely pointing out the future of the Democratic Party and in states like Pennsylvania, where a lot is actually on the table. And we gotta talk about specifically Philadelphia, where they are losing strength momentumously there. And we do know that, yes, Philadelphia is a Democratic stronghold. It's like 80% Democratic. Yes, and it will continue to be that way. But remember, even with 80% of Philadelphia being Democratic, that's still not enough for Democrats to win the election. And they're definitely not winning an election in Pennsylvania if they underperform less in Philadelphia. So warning signs are going out in Philadelphia. The Democrats in Pennsylvania have been declining for some quite amount of time. And we do have a couple elections coming up in this year and next year that's going to dramatically point in the direction of where Pennsylvania's and how Pennsylvania is going to vote in the 2028 election. A lot of people will say, oh, yeah, it's going to be Republican. You'll see that voter trends are going in the direction of the Republican Party. Registration is rising. Other people are like, yeah, Pennsylvania will usually swings the pendulum. It follows, it will usually vote. It's the state of change. Then again, they will usually vote for the change and of opposite of the current administration. And if that is correct, it would vote for Democrats. We don't know, but we do know for sure that Pennsylvania has become that state where it's going to end up deciding the elections. And really, it's going to be the key battleground. It was the key battleground in 2024. It's going to be the key battleground state in 2028. However, Democrats are not doing so well. They know they are panicking, along with national Democrats, because national Democrats do know that if they can't even pick up Pennsylvania, they are not winning a presidential election, period. And they'll have to either bust through the South, like North Carolina and Georgia, or even through maybe Nevada, which obviously the voter trends are doing very well there. They have to go through a lot. And it's a lot of trouble that doesn't need to happen. But ultimately, we're going to go ahead and take a look at the elections coming up. We have, of course, a election. Well, I just want to specifically point out the 2026 gubernatorial race between Josh Shapiro and whoever the Republican is. Because although the likely outcome is going to be that Shapiro's probably going to get reelected, it's going to be interesting because we're going to have to look at how Shapiro performs, okay? We know in 2022, believe it or not, a lot of people don't know this, but Shapiro performed less than his predecessor, Tom Wolf, okay? Tom Wolf did better than Shapiro by around over 1 percentage point, okay? And this was Tom Wolf's second term running. Actually, he improved his performances in the metro area in Philadelphia. And in 2022, you had some issues. You had the Roe v. Wade issue. You had Doug Mastriano just being too right-wing for, like, Pennsylvania. I think he would be good in an average, like, a Montana or, like, a Kansas or something like a Wyoming or in the deep south, but in a pivotal swing state, it was just not the climate for him and his politics. So that was also the problem also. He did win a respectable 41%. It's not like Shapiro went up crashed the roof of 60, which is I'm thankful for. But that obviously played a role into Shapiro getting 56%. You had Roe v. Wade. You just had the low propensity vote for Republicans, and you had Doug Mastriano. Although he kind of campaigned on this big MAGA platform, it was not enough. And not to mention, a lot of the MAGA base do like Josh Shapiro. They find him quite attractive, and that's going to be a problem, okay, in 2026. Now, we're not putting Pennsylvania on the list because expectations already set. We're probably going to lose Pennsylvania. You already have the sites coming out, and they're saying, yeah, it's not considered a battleground, despite what Inside Elections is saying. No, I do not think we should endorse and have Doug Mastriano run. He ran his run. He has publicly expressed. Stacey Garrity would be better. She is a stronger candidate. And if it's a Garrity Shapiro run or a Garrity Shapiro race, keep an eye on this. And goals is not trying to get Garrity to win. Now, obviously, if there is a obvious path to victory, then Pennsylvania should be added to the table for possible pickups. We need to start investing money in Pennsylvania. But as of right now, Democrats are probably going to sweep. That's probably the expectation. You do have Josh Shapiro, and you do have half of the MAGA base in Pennsylvania that do admire Josh Shapiro, despite his liberal leniencies. But I'm just saying, if Stacey Garrity gets that Republican nomination, then keep an eye on this race. Keep an eye on the polls. Keep an eye, and if Stacey Garrity is doing so well, then you know what? Put it on the list. Put it on the list of possible pickups. You're seeing Stacey Garrity from 2020 to 2024. She got relatively very popular. She won Dauphin County, which is relatively very Democratic. It swung to Trump by 2.6. She won Lehigh, which has never voted Republican as far as I know in an election. She held on to Bucks pretty well. She's popular. She's well-liked. And you do have people like Josh Shapiro. Not everyone likes him. In fact, the right doesn't really have a stigma towards Shapiro more than the left does. The populist far left, they don't like Josh Shapiro. They don't like that he's pro-Israel. They don't like that he's been picking on the universities when it comes to their anti-Semitism and their pro-Hamas behavior. And not to mention, his mansion got burned down, and all the Democrats did a surprise Pikachu face when they found out it was a pro-Palestinian clown that lit it on fire. Like, geez Louise. So, yeah, you could say relatively they won't vote for him, but the question is, will the MAGA base be a supplement for the populist left? Okay? That would fill in for the mixing in action Marxists that will probably run an independent candidate, a more left-wing socialist from Philadelphia as an independent. That would take votes for sure from Shapiro. But then again, it doesn't really matter when you have half of the Republican base showing up, or a little bit more than usual for Shapiro. Very similar to how Josh Stein got a lot of those MAGA voters into victory, that carried him to victory in the gubernatorial race in 2024. They didn't care Mark Robinson was endorsed by Trump. They just didn't like him in general. He ran a very clumsy campaign, and this is the result. You cannot say that MAGA voters didn't play a role in this blue wave in North Carolina. You just cannot say that didn't happen. So Yes, for sure. That is definitely the case, and we got to be weary of that. A lot of people are blinded that, the MAGA vote won't go for John Fetterman. No, like half of them definitely went to John Fetterman. They found him more appealing, and you know why, obviously. He's doing a good job, honestly. He's very transparent. But then again, there's also Mohammed Oz. A lot of these MAGA voters don't like that. He is dual citizenship in Turkey. They kind of don't trust him as, of course, being a citizen of a country that we're not necessarily friends with, but they are a part of NATO. There's not really much that trust there. So I can see why, obviously, Mohammed Oz lost so badly to John Fetterman. But yeah, there was circumstances into these Republican defeats, and if you run a good campaign like Stacey Garrett, you run someone that's good, you're probably going to see a closer outcome. I am not expecting Garrity to win against Shapiro, because Shapiro is like Gavin Newsom in a way of his speech. Okay, he's a good public speaker. He knows how to infuse a crowd, and so much that he's picking up MAGA voters. It's about, okay, what's the expectation of Shapiro? Is Shapiro going to meet that expectation, or is he going to underperform massively? And if he underperforms massively, then Republicans should feel very, very good about 2020, about 2028. They really should. They shouldn't be bummed by the fact that they lost Pennsylvania. Like, you're going to lose it regardless. You're running against a Democrat juggernaut. This seat, not to mention, Democrats have held North Pennsylvania for definitely over 20 years. It's like 2010 was the last time Tom Corbett came in, was the last Republican of Pennsylvania. We're campaigning against an almost 20-year record. But when it comes to actually seeing which way it's going to go, feel very good about 2028 about that. So, yes, you do have the results there. But I want to talk more about Philadelphia, because Philadelphia, over the course of the years, has been trending right, okay? You got Trump gaining 4.7% over Harris in the 2024 election. Now, this is, of course, compared to 2020. And this is a pretty good pickup here. That's obviously, Trump was enthused, got more African-American voters than ever before. He also got people of diverse backgrounds, like Muslims, although Philadelphia doesn't have as much Muslims as Detroit. He got more unions. So add context, 4.7. But let's move the meter to 2016. You'll see that, oh boy, it got even more redder. It's now Trump plus 4. Okay? Now, hang on, they'll say that, oh wait, hang on, the countryside's going more bluer. Now, here's the deal. They are going bluer, but they're not going bluer as what you were really hoping to think. Like, we do know that Cumberland County, definitely, a lot of these college kids that are moving into Cumberland County, they go to school in Dolphin, but they live in Cumberland. That's probably, Harrisburg's probably right here, and they just live over here in some Harrisburg suburb, or exurb, whatever you want to call it. You also have Montour, which is, I want to believe they have some community there, but it's relatively still Republican. Then again, this is not much of a big deal as it is here, okay? Because Democrats, all their energy to win Pennsylvania comes in one county, and one county only, and it's right here. And you're seeing that Trump is almost getting 10-point advantage when it comes to decreasing the amount of Democratic support that Philadelphia is getting. All right, let's move to 2012. Oh my goodness, look at this. 12-point to advantage for Donald Trump. So if you were to compare to 2012, 2024, yeah, it's during the time of Obama won Pennsylvania by a lot. Pretty obvious. Like, let's see here. Exiting out of this, you'll see that, yeah, Trump did win. Compared to Obama or Romney, 7.1 over Romney. That is ridiculous. Then again, I mean, Pennsylvania during the time was considered relatively Democratic, comparable to New Jersey like it is today. It was described as more leaning Democrat, as it is more flexible, obviously, looking at the 2010 election, more flexibly conservative in state elections. But yeah, it obviously, and part of the reason was 2012, the countryside was more liberal. Why was it more liberal? Then again, you have Democrats. They weren't. The Democratic Party was very open to other ideas, other ideologies. They embraced the farming vote. They cared about the farmers regardless of whether they supported abortion or they supported life. They were more accepting back then. Not that much anymore. They've pushed all the farmers out. They've called them right-wing fascists and Nazis. That's not going to get farmers to vote for you. Oh, the farmers are coming back because of Trump's tariffs. No, because of number one, 2020 was a big tariff year. That's what they said in 2020. Nope, the farmers went further to the right. It's just common sense here. So yeah, you'll see, comparing the map, all this used to be solid Republican. Comparing it to the 2024 race, oh yeah, even 2016 here, look at the dramatic shift. All this, solid. Some counties are in 70%. I see only 3 counties are in the 70% margin. You got counties that are in the 80% gap right here, which are, of course, Fulton, which swung 16 points to Trump. You got, of course, the county of Bedford, 13 points for Trump. You also, let's see here. Yep. Yeah, not to mention Scranton was pretty liberal, and you had a good liberal Philadelphia. But not to mention, the reason why they did so well was they counted on all the farmers to help add to their pile. And relatively, it worked to some degree. Luzerne, former Democratic stronghold, is now 24 points for Trump. 2008, it's going to be also very, very solid. Now, I'm getting away from Philadelphia, and I know Philadelphia trended more, it was more conservative. And just in recent years, you can't let this fool you. Like, if you're comparing 2020, 2024, yeah, it's going to look, oh, Trump made some gain. But if you compare it to other years, it is disastrous. Like, we have been looking at this since 1996. Philadelphia has been trending to the right. That means Philadelphia Democrats, Pennsylvania Democrats, are losing voters. That is hard. That is hard news to cope with. And you just so have a 2025 Senate, not 2025 elections in Pennsylvania. A lot of people aren't excited about it. But you know what? I'm saying, look, this is opportunity. You should try to get Maria Battista in. You should try to get Matt Wolford in. It would be very stupid if we decided to pass this up, because honestly, a lot of people are not infused. These are Commonwealth Court election, and you got a Superior Court election. It's not like the Supreme Court, where all the major state constitutional decisions lie in the balance. This is more legal domestic issues. And here's the benefit here. This is going to give college students, university students are not going to feel as urgent to go run to the polls to vote for domestic issues. We already know that Democrats care less about crime. Okay, they can care less if a white guy killed a white guy or a black person killed another black person. There would be zero outrage. It's only outraged if the white person kills the black person. That's the only outrage that comes. It's color-coded. That's the only time they care about legal and domestic issues. But other than that, they can care less. They can care less. In fact, they say it's racist to go to lower crime. It's racist. It's stereotyping, according to the left and these silly college students. But yeah, you even got the college students coming at mass in 2023 in the Supreme Court election, going all the way up here. Yeah, the college students weren't as momentumous as they were, because you got 53% for Daniel McCaffrey. Remember, in this race, it was all about abortion. Abortion, abortion. Republicans want to take away our abortion rights, blah, 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 reproductive rights, blah, blah, blah. And they could only get 53%. Yeah, this isn't good. Erie County, somewhat of the college community, voted Republican. So I have hopes that college students are going to sit this election out, these two elections out. And Republicans do have the obstacle about being the low propensity in Pennsylvania, but it's much better, obviously, compared to Wisconsin. You do have these red counties coming out at mass, and not to mention you have the college students staying home. You also have people in Philadelphia, in Philly, and in other areas here. They're staying home. And even liberals are staying home. It's not the biggest, and this is the Supreme Court election. Now, I would take that the election, the victory for Democrats, for Jill Beck and Tamika Lane, were carried mostly due to the Supreme Court. Okay, people showed up mainly to vote in the Supreme Court race. So I really don't like to count that. But if you go to 2021 and go to this Superior Court race, the college students did not show up, obviously, because you got all the college communities voting overwhelmingly for the Republicans. Yeah, college students don't care about the Superior Court. They don't care about domestic issues. They don't care about the legal issues. No, they care about the issues that surround state and politics, right? Like the Supreme Court. All right? Yeah, and even in the Commonwealth Court, a pretty good victory for Republicans also. Dauphin County, Republican. Harrisburg, big University of Pennsylvania. UPenn, I want to believe, is in Center County and voted Republican. This is a county that Trump, let's see here. Trump, Harris won it by 2.8, but it's still relatively Democratic. But yeah, it is interesting. So Republicans still have a chance. And honestly, let's be honest, Pennsylvania is the least important state to win in this election cycle. It really is. We want to keep Virginia. It doesn't look like we are. But I would say and settle at least overperform the expectations for Winsome Shears. We want to try to challenge New Jersey. That's the biggest state we're going to try to win. And hopefully we expand Mr. Shirelli's margin in the compared to 4 years ago. So anyway, what do you guys think in regards to this video? Pennsylvania is telling bad news for Democrats, obviously with crime out of control. And the rich billionaires. They are the people they hate so much. They are leaving because, hey, we're not going to give money to a system that's attacking us. So they're going to leave. And not only that, but middle class families, even other people in general, they're leaving. And some people are becoming red pill. So, yeah, I would expect, even with the socialist effect, like you got the socialist Zohran Mamdani for mayor in New York. You got Omar Fateh in Minneapolis, who's got this DFL endorsement. I expect a crazy socialist to be elected in Philadelphia. I mean, let's be honest. This is a city that doesn't learn, and they're going to find out the hard way. And because you got a lunatic in Philadelphia, you're going to probably see a pretty red Pennsylvania. But anyway, let me know what you guys think down below. And as always, see you all in the next one.